So on this week's episode of What Excuse Can I Use? I'm going to be going with the Tom Yum excuse. Me and my wife Kayla, we actually went to a new restaurant. It's probably been there longer than we think. It's in Birkdale, Kung Fu Noodle. It was delicious. But I got the Tom Yum. It was a 2-spice dish. And when the waiter came out, he asked me if I would like a little bit more spice. And since I am a man, I had to say yes. It was a lot more than a 2-spice the next morning, which was the day of the race. But that's not why I decided to do just a second video on short track. In reality, I was gonna lump together probably 2 and 3. But the reason I wanted to do this video separate was because Keith, you all know Keith, he had a great opportunity to ride a dream of a bicycle. It is a highly sought after bicycle. 20 years ago. My limited edition Homegrown. This thing is a work of art in my opinion. It was the bike when I was growing up. It was, you know, the unattainable, because they didn't make it anymore, bicycle. I loved this thing. Most people know the history of the Homegrown, but this one in particular was the last model year that they made the bike before they went bankrupt on 9/11. So a lot of these frames were made by Yeti back then. This one is made in the USA. I'm not 100% sure if if the limited edition ones were made by Yeti or not. Either way, I loved this bike. So I thought that this might be a great opportunity, since Keith has been racing a carbon hardtail lately, that he can kinda tell us the difference.
And we nitpick at all this crap. Oh, this fork flexes, this, that, and the other thing. It's still a million times better than that.
So this is a 26-inch Schwinn Homegrown. The fork, I think, is 100mm, but it's the old Sid World Cup. Back then, it would have been a bee's knees bike. Instead of throwing gears on it and doing it that direction, maybe he'd have a chance in single speed. We will see how he's going to do later. And in all reality, somebody really wanted his bike more than he did, so he let it go. He was not planning on racing but maybe 3 of these short track series, so he kind of knew going into it they're just going to be more for fun and for fitness, which is how all racing should be. What am I saying? But he's not going to be able to do the whole series, so he's racing single speed because his new Orbea Oiz is not here yet. So anyway, let's just get to short track. I'll show some of his race. I threw on the GoPro session for him.
Getting pushed out the top all of a sudden.
I'll just run it locked out. So there was more than one person I was cheering for at today's races. We've got Steve here. This is going to be his first ever short track event, so it was great cheering him on. Again, we've got Chase. He's been racing single speed for a long time. It's a good dude. Usually he's the one standing in the corner of the videos screaming at me to get up there. And of course we're going to be cheering for Keith on the epic Schwinn Homegrown. But before we get too carried away with the actual races, let's hear from Keith himself what he thought about this amazing machine.
I don't know, it's like you're pedaling like crazy and people are coasting and riding off from you on 29ers or 27s with big tires.
Yeah.
They're just coasting away and you're having to pedal to keep that gap the same. But I will say, you see it in there, like once you got it going again, it definitely came up to speed pretty fast. Because you have a literal, you know, it's little, it's lighter.
I figured the acceleration would be pretty good because it's 26-inch.
But it's definitely,
like, you think you'd do better with a rigid fork on that thing?
Probably not. because it probably knocked my teeth out.
Was the rear end of the bike stable, or is it bouncy?
I mean, I think it's as stable as it's going to be. You know, you're
I just remember that's what those
You're
were
riding
always...
a higher tire pressure, a littler wheel, a fork that doesn't move as much.
Yeah.
You're way over the front end compared to a modern bike.
Did you notice that on the drop-off?
You know, so just the difference in a modern World Cup bike with a shorter stem, longer top tube, you're more centered over the bike as opposed to fitting more like a road bike. Like all those things make a difference. And like I said, I think you take it for granted with a modern bike because you have these big wheels or you have a bigger tire and the bike rolls over things without even thinking about it. Whereas on that, like I had to think about where I was going.
Ready, go! And our single speed race underway. Big crowd in our single speed event.
Shut up and sit down.
Woo! Good job, Chase! Good job, Keith! Good job, guys. Good job, Steve. Woo! Top 10, baby. Catching him.
Shut up and sit down.
Woo! Good job, Chase. Good job, man. Alright, so I do have to pause it right here and give this guy some credit. So he was ripping through this trail on his flat bar cross bike and not afraid to beat this bike to pieces, because every time he landed on this thing, it just sounded like the spokes were crying. You're like 8. Woohoo! At 8th place right now. Come on, buddy. Hit it, kid. So at the end of the day, Keith thought that he had maybe just one gear too big on the bike, started to lose steam towards the end of the race, but he ended up 9th place, and on a bike that's 20 years old, a top 10 is, yeah, that's no joke. He did a good job. Come on, Keith! How much?
It's the momentum. It is truly the biggest difference that I can tell riding that bike to what we normally ride is the momentum of that bike. It does not keep it. As soon as you hit something probably bigger than a couple inches, it slows the bike down.
Yeah.
You know, like super fast. And you know, with single speed, that's everything, is being able to keep your momentum.
Yeah. 26
keep
is
your
probably
speed up.
But as far as for my race, it went much better than the previous week. I was able to sustain a higher heart rate. I still think I had a little bit of funk or something going on. Whatever. So you guys, again, tell me what you think. I just seem to be terrible at the A line. As far as keeping my speed, I get up it every time, but that's where everyone gets a gap on me. I had matches to burn the first few laps. After that, I had to just settle in. So once my race was done, I tried to just limit my losses. I did better. I will say that. I'm happy with my result. Coming off of the the flu, I'm still gonna claim that a little bit. Our first race is.
Guys, ready, go!
That sucks.
Ready, go!
Good God. And here it is, guys. So this is the moment where I lose contact, taking the A line, coming out onto the gravel. I try to pick the pace back up again since it worked the first lap. This time they were going a lot faster, and inevitably it was my downfall.
Here we go, Ben.
Come on, Ben! Get up there, Ben!
job, man. See you soon. Thanks, buddy. Go, buddy. Hello. Good job, buddy.
Dude, I am so sorry. I don't know what was going on in my brain. I think I had like the high intensity mush brain going on, because he was right behind me saying, you know, he's going B-line. For some reason, I automatically thought he said A-line. That was what I was thinking in my head. So I went B-line, and when I realized I made that stupid mistake and he said pass on left, guess what I did? I went left. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I said, race 3 and 4, I'm probably going to lump them into one video in and of itself. I had a great time. I did finish 10th, so I can't complain. It was great. And to this guy, if I seemed a little standoffish after the race, that's probably because I was just trying to pick my lungs up off the ground. I didn't mean to be short or anything. I really appreciate you coming up and saying you like the videos. That's awesome. We'll say hey to Stella here, and then I will see everyone this weekend. Later.
What do we say? We say go bicycles.
Yeah.
You guys.